Hello there, and we are live in the second game of this semi-final, the second semi-final of the day. And VonIvan is in the south. He's 1-0 up against his opponent, and he's just locked into his namesake commander. He's got his own faceplate. It's VonIvan.
In the north, the last hope of Finland, Talisman on his OKW. His signature faction, in my opinion, the faction he's been practicing and he's known for. Yeah, he looking good.
He's looking
one game down.
He's one game down, so he's not looking meta good. But in terms of this particular game, he's on his strongest, by far strongest. I wouldn't say by far. His Soviets are good actually, but he's damn good as OKW. I think it's either him or Nagano as the best kind of elite level tournament OKW player. VonIvan made guard motor coordination tactics VonIvan edition. Like, it made it look superb in 2016, about November time. It was Warpaint Championships, and VonIvan got all the way to the semi-finals of that tournament.
I have to say the commander looks amazing.
Doesn't it?
I wish I had that.
Nope, only VonIvan. I believe Devem got one, Jesulin, and that could be it, actually. I'm sure Nagano was going to get one, but then, hey-ho, passport troubles. Just so glad that's one of the reasons we've done 8 qualifiers this time, so we could let Nagano play and try and get a visa. But hey-ho, apparently geopolitics suck, and Russians can't play. But doesn't matter. We've got loads of great players playing for you in September. These are 2 of them. These guys have mathematically qualified, but they're playing today to get a better seeding in that tournament, because seeding matters. VonIvan or Talisman are capable of getting 3 or 4 seed, depending on where you put Von Asten. So it's a hard slog today, and they know the benefit of this. They're all planning to win $2,000 and a GTX 1080 and a huge-ass trophy, which you can see to my left, in September. And that shit's important. They've been training all year round. Talisman asked me in March, ICAB, what is the desk size at GCS2? Because I have a large mouse traverse and I want to know my dimensions. I'm not kidding you. That's the level that Talisman wants to play at and wants to put effort into getting into that tournament.
Yeah, he's certainly put the work in and reaped the fruits of dedication.
Indeed, hard labour, dedication, and he's going to Manchester. He's just got to prove himself now. He's never won a tournament, ICAB.
Yeah, a lot of green players like that.
But he's been playing since early 2016. His first tournaments were ESL. We're now 2.5 years later, and he's still never won a tournament. I believe he might have won a 2v2 once maybe, but 1v1 tournament-wise, he's ever the bridesmaid, never the bride, and he cannot afford to take that psychology into Manchester with him.
Talisman has to feel pretty good about himself, though. He's one of the strongest contenders of this. I don't think he's let it affect his mentality. In this opening game against in this second game against Von, he's put himself on the map superbly. And yeah, great start to the second game.
Somebody asked, has Von ever won a tournament? Has he? He has never won a major tournament that is open to all contenders. He's won map-orientated tournaments. He's won NA-only tournaments. He has never won an open tournament with EU participants. You know, that is like a true major. It isn't like around a map tournament or something. So he's only won minors, basically, because unfortunately, I know he won $3,000 playing in ESL, but that ESL era for the NA was mostly based around Paula and Shadow Wadder and VonIvan. 3 players. Momo for sure, you could argue CS maybe, but it was not a strong field. And although VonIvan did dominate, there is an asterisk next to that. So I think this could be his year, ICAB. I really do. I think he's put enough time and preparation into it for certain.
Absolutely. VonIvan's one of my favorites to win the tournament. Him and Devem look incredibly strong right now. Truly the titans to look out for at the main event.
They really are. Here's the penal battalions, the Stravniki. 12 of them down to 10 of them now. Dropping. Incendiary grenade goes in.
Satchel goes down, but VonIvan reacts. Oh, Talisman reacts instantly.
He does. He separates and mitigates. And it's now time for him to turn the tide of battle.
A great grenade usage by Talisman. Ordinarily, Volk sort of lost that fight pretty handily, but yeah, just forcing Penals out of cover to move around, forcing that moving accuracy, yeah, allows the two Volks to prevail. Pretty nice.
Shoe mine. We've seen some excellent rolls. We had a 6 1/4 percentage roll for Aimstrong yesterday, where he lost all 4 combat engineers. Bates, will he take? It is a Stern Pioneer, so he might not. VonIvan's too clever for that.
I feel like Talisman oversold it. The Stonepile peeking out.
It's almost as though it's like, hey, Reginald, would you go run in front of the Germans and wave this handkerchief? And then run back behind the alleyway? Yes, sure, I'll do that right now. It'd work in a cheesy 1960s World War II film, but it does not work in Elite level Company Heroes 2.
Ooh, I gotta enter. This Volks is about to go down in the south.
Any trucks up yet? Any trucks up? There's a Faust, yes there is, but it hits the ground. That is a bug there. Well, it's not a bug, it's an exploit, if you will. Because if you drive really close to the firing model, he will hit the ground invariably. Sorry to ruin competitive Company Heroes, but it's true.
Yeah, still pretty good that Volk got out. It got out with a fraction of its HP. And the flak half track is out now for Talisman.
But it is esports ready NIW because we know what causes that bug, so then you can actually exploit it. It's kind of cool if you think about it.
Yeah, if it's the same for everybody, then it's fair.
Oh, abandoned M3. That's esports ready. 1 in 20 chance. Does go down. Flak off, tracks out.
Penal there though to finish it off.
Indeed. We should have a montage of all the times either of us said the word indeed today. ICAP, you could probably make a 12-minute montage from that.
I just love the word indeed. It sounds so sophisticated, but it's also a filler word.
Also, absolutely is another one. If you've not been listening to somebody, you just go, absolutely. I'm going to catch you out at some point. I'm going to say something horrific and you're just going to agree with me. Penal Battalion pushes forward. Foch Grenadier probably won't win this. Well, it will with a flat half track.
Indeed, double fuel being claimed by Talisman now. But VonIvan's done his damage. He has the fuel for a T-70 now. This is we're gonna see the weakness of Battle Group now, because this tech doesn't really give you anything at all versus the T-70. PTRS on the first penal.
It's always a good idea. Hiding behind the log pile. Flak half track is waiting in the mist.
Indeed. Should be noted though, PTRSs aren't a hot priority for VonIvan here, because PTRSs can't really deal with the flak half track.
Oh, infiltration grenade assault goes in.
Good awareness by VonIvan though.
It must be noted, by the way, if we get 2 very long semi-final series today, I will host somebody after the final who will cast the third place playoff live. We will arrange that. It's just a caveat I will mention now, so if the referees could get any messages of any possible casters, we'll host into you with 700 viewers, and the best of 3 third place playoff would follow the final if this series is a long one. Just making that aware now. T-70 goes in, flak half track has to get out of there, ICAB.
Indeed. I mean, a Raketin is coming to support. This T-70 is going very, very deep. But I feel like the flak half track is already dead. It'll be worth it for the T-70 though.
Oh, main gun destroyed. He's going to get out of there just about. And that's 1 dead flak half track. It's fortunate for the Stern Pio that the T-70 did get that critical, because he's going to live to tell another tale a different day.
Absolutely superb play by VonIvan. That wasn't down to luck at all either. That was just the Raketin hit every single shot, and then yeah, just perfect execution by VonIvan. That's gut-wrenching for Talisman.
Nice mine here. And it's looking good for the Von Meister. Must make everybody aware, by the way, that because VonIvan mathematically qualified yesterday on points, his plane tickets have been booked nice and early. And yeah, he's flying into Manchester a little bit early to make sure he'll be well and rested. But today, he's fighting for the psychology of actually winning one of these tournaments. And breaking his duck of never winning an open tournament available to EU players in 1v1 combat, but also making sure he gets that number 4 or number 3 seed spot, that very important spot. I was talking to him about it last night, and he is very motivated to make that happen.
Absolutely. It's like the difference between £1,000 almost.
It really is, because you need to get second to get just under £1,000. But you want your eye on that main prize, I believe. I think every one of the 8 individuals we will have chosen through the GCS2 process will be capable of technically winning the whole thing. You know, maybe some of them will need a little tiny bit of luck along the way, but in general, they're all worthy contenders, ICAB, and that's pretty good for the health of our community.
Absolutely.
Because I would hate to think that you'd have it like an 8th place player or a 7th place player that isn't worthy of that position. And as it stands, it could be Refuro, Stuve, Helping Hands, or Aimstrong around that level. And those guys, that's like a who's who, and who's a very good Company Heroes 2 player.
Yeah. They all deserve to be there. It's like nobody who doesn't deserve to be there made it. There should be... I just want to talk a little about this game. It's like... It so perfectly highlights why Battle Grouper isn't really picked anymore. Your only logical progression... Oh, that penal went down.
Oh, did it really? Is it over here? Yeah, on the left? I did not catch that on camera, my bad. But there we go. So a penal has died for VonIvan. And we were just talking about how Talisman's down on his luck a little bit. But there you go. A little thing like that. A 300 manpower scalping can change the tide of battle.
This T70 though. It's like, he doesn't have the fuel for a Panzer IV, but he has to go for Schwerer, because you can't build anything else out of Battle Grouper. If he had gone mechanized, he could have gone Puma or Lux. You just have to tech up from battle groups, even if you're not ready to.
If anybody's wondering how I'm able to keep the camera on something and then not process it in my brain, casting is tiring business. It's like if you ever watch an actual esports, they cycle the casters between every game. We do not have that luxury in our community, unfortunately. We'll try and do that for GCS2, you'll be pleased to know. We're going to have a bit of cycling going on, keeping people fresh, making sure their brains are working and their eyes are open.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Those days are going to be like 7-8 hours of live gameplay, right?
Indeed.
All being tested.
Absolutely.
That sounds tiring.
It could be. And I want to be fresh for the drinks after, in all honesty, as well. I don't want to be like a zombie. So we got Tightrope, we got Momo, we got loads of players that can cast. I mean, Helping Hands will be there, VonIvan will be there. All these guys have tried casting before and have been very good at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Dota, I mean, I hate to make a reference to Dota, but in the Dota community, pro-level casts are always extremely entertaining, just because of how much these individuals know about the game.
Ooh, good mind there. And Focus Grenadiers are stemming the tide of battle against the swathe of VonIvan infantry. He might be down on his numbers, but he's still doing an excellent job of keeping up the pressure. And that Vet 2 T70 has a lot of thanks for that. I mean, I know it only has the 2 infantry kills and 1 vehicle destroy, but it's certainly done well for itself in general in keeping pressure up.
Yeah, the way VonIvan just glides it in and out of force range is incredibly impressive.
Absolutely, indeed. We've got a full stalemate, it seems. This is a battle of attrition. I try and be a hypecaster when I can be, but you have to call it as you see it sometimes. And this game has stagnated ever so slightly, so what we're now looking for, ICAB, in the beauty of Company Heroes... Nice nade there from the guards, could have ran into it. In the beauty of Company Heroes, you're looking for that next breakthrough unit, ICAB. And what do you see in the teching that could prove fruitful?
T70 is about to die. Oh, it missed!
There's another one though, and that one missed as well. T70 darted away. That is one lucky ass light tank.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
In terms of breakthrough units, VonIvan needs indirect to break this cookie. Um, or he does have T4 out. He might go for a T34-85. Talisman, of course, is working towards that Panzer IV. Talisman is still absolutely in this, but yeah, like you said, it has turned into a bit of a stalemate. Talisman can't really push because of the T70. He has to wait for more mobile anti-tank. Once the Panzer IV comes out, the game should get a little bit dicier. Or VonIvan does queue up the T34-85.
Indeed. We've got the medium tank coming out now. One of the better tanks of the war. The most mass-produced tank in history. And it's for good reason. Excellent design. Sloped armor was a game changer. Wasn't the first tank to utilize it, but it did it the best job and was the most prolific user of it. Faustin on the T70. Bigger brothers come into play, and there are no vehicles out for Talisman. He's clearly waiting for the Command Panther.
He's away from the Command Panther though. He might lose the game if he tries to go for it. I think he absolutely needs the Panzer IV. He needs the anti-infantry, and I'm almost certain that's what he's going to go for.
Such an exciting game one as well, wasn't it? With the Overwatch and the sector assault memes.
Just I mean, the nature of Goliath is that you're going to get some very entertaining games. This one plays a lot more standard. It's kind of like this though, I don't know, every time you go battle group as OKW against Soviets, the T-70 just rails you. It's just so difficult to deal with.
Raketovich really needs to get its act together. Finally shoots, but the damage has already been done with 4 kills on its first assault. Make it 6. Look at that mine, by the way, on the east side ICAV. That's a BM mine if I've ever seen one.
Dude, oh wait, I'm looking at the... I was just gonna say, the vision of this T-70 is absolutely crazy.
Talking of T-70, he's rushing in. This is VonIvan style. He'll go past your AT guns. He's got the balls, and he'll throw them against the wall. And here you go. Penal's coming in. T-34 is coming in, as are the guards. T-70's gone down. Hero of the Radina.
He's gonna try and satchel it, but this is so risky. The Panzer IV is building.
Really is quite risky. Here comes the second satchel. T-34 is going to escape. Oh, the Panzer IV comes out just in the nick of time, and it's marauding down that road, gaining the bonus. Will it be able to take out the T-34 ICAB?
Probably not. I have to say, this probably wasn't worth it for VonIvan, trading a Vet 2 T-70 for a Schwerer.
Do you think? It's 120 fuel, isn't it? It's quite a lot, I guess.
But the Vet 2 T-70 is crazy good, and there's not going to be much opportunity anymore to vet up a T-70 because of the Panzer IV and the double Raketten. Also, Talisman doesn't really need it. I mean, I guess he can maybe build overs. He could have built that out of the Schwerer, but in terms of tanks, he's just going to be saving for Command Panther now. So it's kind of an insignificant loss. I don't know.
Yeah, you got an MG as well. So if you take that into account, I think VonIvan definitely traded up there. Just about. It was a close call though. But VonIvan, he so often trades up, and you question his madness, but there's always method behind that madness. And I mean, it goes without saying he's the best at microing those kind of engagements, and he's certainly the most entertaining person to cast for that reason.
Yeah, he loves his balls deep dives. It's I mean, yeah, it's like, it's not a bad trade for sure, but he got rid of the Schwerer as well, so he can now do attacks on the cutoff.
He can push up and get in deep. Penal battalions rushing in against the Volksgrenadiers.
Some infiltration grenades going down on the penals on the
Well
fuel.
dodged though, dude. That was excellent. Excellent. We've got a sea of red capping, by the way. We've currently got Talisman spilling out into the east. He's also just capped the victory point in the centre. He's taken his time, and he's picked his moments, and he's taken back control for the time being.
Indeed. Oops. I said it again.
Nice guards grenade, well dodged by Talisman this time.
Feel for another T-34-85 for VonIvan. Maybe he's trying to decide if he needs a Katyusha or an Su-85.
Could be. Ward. The Penal Battalion here battling hard against the STGs. The Maxim, obviously not suppressing because it is behind green cover. Elsewhere, T-34-85 hits some huge shots from the Raketenwerfer, and then the final fatalistic shot from the Panzer IV.
Max range as well. Another one is in the build, but oof, that's painful.
We've got excellent battle unfolding under our very eyes. This series is starting to heat up. Talisman's starting to eke his way back into things.
Absolutely. Dude, it's like that T-70 dying has opened up the map so much for Talisman. Suddenly he can move around with these Raketen without really fearing getting flanked. He can move around infantry without worrying about the all-seeing eye of the Vet2 T-70 recon. It's not bad at all.
It's a really good point that you made there about the T-70 having all this hidden utility that is not easy to numerically evaluate. So people might immediately say, you know, I'm not saying you're right or wrong, I'm just saying people immediately said, oh no, he traded up, absolutely, in chat. But then again, you now see the effects of not having that Vet2 T-70. And it is map control.
Kino just died as well.
Yep.
Yeah. Dude, the T-70 is literally just liquid map control. It's such a strong unit. I don't know.
Second penal death in as many minutes, though. That is brutal. And let's have a look at the graph and evaluate what's been happening there, because that's a really good numerical. Oh my god, look how much VonIvan's dived. And just keep an eye on this engagement.
Sure, doesn't factor into the army value though, right? So it's a little deceptive.
Let's check out points held's always a good one. And although VonIvan's certainly got a lot of the map, he's definitely dipped down in terms of army value.
Von has pretty consistently held most of the map though, just constantly getting double the fuel income of Talisman. Great attack rounds from the Raketen heading through the hedgerow.
Penal Battalion pushing in against STGs. You don't want to do that.
Another satchel.
That could have been a lot better actually. The folks grenadier went towards it again. Oh, that T-34-85 is a killing machine, doing a great job. Panzer IV getting pushed away by PTRS fire, surprisingly effective.
Yeah, just great all-in assault by Von. And now he goes for the cutoff. This is like one of the good things about taking down the Schreier though. Suddenly this play becomes possible.
It really does. And here comes the Volksgrenadiers, Vet 4, both of them.
He hits the dirt, so he leaves himself vulnerable to the grenades.
Artillery flares being used by Talisman to figure out how to break out of this Kessel, this pocket of resistance. Because you want to... Go on.
I was just going to say the second T-34-85 is building.
It is, and it's nearly completed. Fresh off the railway tracks, and it's going to be rolling onto a battlefield near you. Here is the second one. Ooh, the first one though's in peril. Raketenwerfers hits, well. Panzer hits, and for good measure the Raketenwerfer hits again. I mean, if it wasn't dead already, it certainly is now.
That's incredibly, just fantastic positioning on these Raketen by Talisman. The Vet2 of both Raketens now Vet2 a huge DPS upgrade with the rate of fire. The second T-34-85 is encroaching, but not really sure what he's looking for.
No, neither am I. Here we go. We've got the marked vehicle reconnaissance. He's trying to get some statistical boosts to swing things in his favour. But the Raketenwerfers are back, and they're back from base, full health, and ready to tango. Here you go. Oh, they hit the church wall. Not sure about that decision. By the gunner. It's one of those... Oh, huge plane explosion there with a lot of debris flying around. Don't want an aircraft to investigate that. Is this...
Nearly hit the 85. That would have been half its HP.
Talisman's battling back. He's actually got just a bit lower than... Sorry, a bit higher on VonIvan and victory points somehow. Somehow during all of this he's managed to maintain 1 victory point at all times. And that's kept him in the game. And it's meant that his bleed has not been too high.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna... It's just been fantastic VP control by Talisman. Always on the back foot, but always in the VP game. He's actually breaking even with VonIvan, despite the poor map position all game.
There's the tanks duking it out. The guards doing an excellent job. Grenade finally tossed by both players. Dodged well by each.
Volks will win this engagement.
There we go, Panzers. Again in the centre. This is a classic Talisman battle. ICAB, we're going to be here for the next hour and a half probably in this game.
I think it looks really, really good for Talisman. These two Vet 2 Raketen are incredibly difficult to deal with. And now Talisman just has to bunker down and wait for a Command Panther.
That's exactly what he's going to do. Ever the saving grace of the OKW army, the Command Panther, is the destination of choice for Talisman. And destination of choice for many a player. It's almost,
Never having to deal with 2 T-34-85s at once has also really been a huge boon for Talisman. He can just focus that one tank and move around the map depending on where it is.
T-34 is nearly ready for action once again. He's building another one. Hopefully he'll actually be able to have 2 this time. And Fickerwolf says Talisman has the stamina of a horse. You speak from your filmographic experience there.
Soviet troops moving in a column, the guards supervising the prisoners.
There we go. They're moving in a column past the log pile. We've also got an engagement to the west here. T-34 defending the cutoff to the best of their abilities. But that first grenadier on the east side pushed away, meaning VonIvan is going to connect some territories, but not before he's cut off.
Very, very risky, this player's for Talisman. I love the initiative he's showing, but he knows that probably is going to be a second T-34 soon.
And here it is, just in time for the Panzerkampfwagen 5 to be on the battlefield.
Indeed. Yeah, Talisman in the commanding position.
He is.
Just great comeback. You often don't see this. Usually it's OKW to crush the early game and then lose mid to late game.
Well, we're still just about in the mid to late, so it's never too late to rule out a VonIvan crazy rush in. He's got marked target down. The target of choice is the Panther, who in turn coordinate fires on the T-34-85.
Both T-34-85s missed a shot on the Raketen. Meanwhile, a PTRS is about to go down to a Panther 4.
There you go. Panther pushing in, looking for its prey, penetrating with perfect precision. Oh, here we go though. Guards pushing around the east side. What a battle I have. This one's really beginning to heat up now. We're starting to see that long stagnation bleed away into ferocious frivolities.
Yeah. Finally, the lines are moving. It's kind of falling apart for VonIvan. He's lost 2 or 3 penals in the last 5 minutes. He does have these 85s, but T-34-85s aren't the best thing ever against Command Panther,
They're not.
especially when it has the support of Raketen and the Panzer IV.
You're exactly right, and it's taken him an age to repair them because he just doesn't have the munitions for vehicle self-repair at 35. Because he's been spending so much on Mart Target and a lot of other abilities here and there. And look at this. Talisman's now going for the third truck, the mechanized regimental headquarters, just to keep himself repaired and on the battlefield at all times. To even get a Stukas of Fus out, perhaps, or anything that he chooses to go for. Certainly, probably not a King Tiger, because his OKW definitely doesn't seem to be quite as ferocious as VonIvan's was in that game one.
You can't actually have one either with the Command Panther on the field. So
Of course not. No, that was a big change last year. I remember now. Yeah.
That's been the frustration of many of my OKW games. MG34 penal squad nearly dies, but does get out in the end.
Panzer IV coming in from the east side. Vet 3 missing because of the retreat there. Plenty of mines on this retreat back. He's expecting a big push in by Talisman because that's what he would do. And here it comes, but it's not from the area he expects.
Ooh, this is a big push.
Long, smooth bore, 75mm of the Panther, doing great work.
Raketen not there to support though, so Talisman quite wisely decides to go back fearing mines.
Very funny comments. Oh, look at that stun. That was quite hilarious to look at.
The Scout might die.
Might still die. We've got machine guns still to go. There you go. It actually came from the MG34. That got the kill there.
34-85 being built though.
Oh, we just had the
Panzer
mines.
IV.
Yeah, one of the mines just went off. Panzer IV. And we have just had the new tank built as captured there. But the Panther's got his buddy covered. Nothing's going to happen here, ICAP. In fact,
I also...
Go on.
I just realised it's a baby T-34.
Tell you what though, we've just had the other two tanks now repaired. We've had a Faust on this one, but these other two T-34s might... No, they're not. Never mind.
No Muni for mark target either.
Okay. Nice mine over here. 2 men dead on that Vet 5 squad. Oh, the T-34's rumbling into action. You need to run away, first grenadiers, because they've got some vengeance up their sleeve, and they're going to pursue here. One more shot required. Will it be a good one? It's on a mine. Oh, how could they miss? They want the Panther though. They've got a bigger target in their sights. The Rakettenwerfer is covering though. This could be doom for VonIvan.
So close to dying, but does manage to get out in the end.
No cigar in this case. Oh, there's a crew model in the treads there. That's a really sad way to die. His head's jammed and it's gone to another dimension. He's become somewhat of a chicken human. And that's just not a good way to go.
Indeed, skull crushed, remains buried.
Work's already completed on the Vet 5 Panzer IV. This is the bonuses it gets. Look at those babies. That's scatter at Vet 4. Then you're looking at reload at Vet 3. And 60% rotation speed at Vet 2. Pretty crazy tank when it starts to attain.
I also saw an interesting comment in the chat. Refero asked whether the Command Panther can see as far as it can shoot. It definitely can. And that's one of the reasons, in my opinion, why it's such an insanely strong unit.
The one-man army Command Panther. Oh, look at that perfectly exemplified point for ICAB. There's no way that any other tank could do that except for the Command Panther. Self-scouting.
Imagine if the Jackson could do that. Imagine how broken it would be. I guess it is a doctrinal though, so
Oh
some
yeah,
special.
you know, doctrinal call-ins are lovely. We love them in the Company Heroes community. Here we go. Mine does go off on the Panzer. Will VonIvan take his turn to strike? No, he fears the command tank. He can't go in for it. And yet again, the Panther is supporting. Well, no, he's going to pull the trigger. He's going to try and get the Panzer IV. Will he get it?
Falling very, very low. But you can tell that VonIvan's worried about the Raketten. He doesn't know where they are, and they can pretty much instantly kill all of his tanks. Talisman just taking the initiative now. Beautiful shot by the T-34-85. Panzer IV hobbling back to the base.
There you go. Reversing over the mines that Talisman's planted. It's such a symmetrical battle, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's rough though because VonIvan has to worry about Raketten, but Talisman doesn't have to worry about AT guns.
There's the beauty of those special operations flares. Look at the swathe of land that Talisman has line of sight over right now.
Indeed. The vision this... Oh, I just said it again, didn't I?
You did. It's when I first started casting, it's all you do, honestly. It's basically you're like a me from 6 years ago. Here goes T-34 marauding in. This Foch Grenadier has got its work cut out for it on retreat. Oh, huge shot!
The Raketten though. Ah. They don't manage to get the shot.
Vet 5 Panzer IV, that 5th bonus, if you were wondering, is, of course, it can smell units from behind the bushes. No, it's got 25% accuracy and 60% farther range when stationary. So pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah, Von does have the VP lead, right?
I would definitely say so, yes. It's going to be on Faymanville Approach, the deciding game. And VonIvan has victory point control, so he'll be able to decide whether he wants to pick his faction first, or whether he wants his opponent to pick their faction first.
VonIvan in all likelihood will pick OKW, and then probably won't do Goliaths again. He's already won the Coco Jumbo Award.
Yeah, definitely. I'd be so surprised if he doesn't.
It's going to be Command Panther all the way for VonIvan.
Here goes T-34-76, ramming in! Oh, just about getting it. Crew shocked only, though. Not rolling the what he wanted. Dying as a result. Oh, here comes another one. He's memeing now. He knows he's lost. He's just having a laugh. Showing off for the crowd as his victory points tick down to 0. And another ram! He's going ram crazy!
Amazing.
He's on a rampage! I just saw ICAB do a facepalm at my pun in the corner of my eye. But indeed, that's exactly what's happening. He's now throwing his units into the treads of his opponent. And he drops from the game. That was hilarious.
Nah, Rampage was a good pun. Rampage.
Yeah.
That was ingenious. I was more facepalming at the ramming.
Indeed.
Gave me flashback to the Soviet industry.
It was a fantastic game, and we now see that this game has been leveled, and we will be heading to an ace game.
Ah, good.
And we're back in the room. What a game, what a comeback. I did not think that game was going that way. Did you, ICAP? You've muted yourself this time. You're not holding push to speak.
Yeah, good call.
I feel like you're my Padawan. You know what I mean? I'm here. I need your knowledge and your brain from playing this game way more than I do. But
Dude, it's just like you said. Casting for so long kinda puts a vice on your brain.
oh yeah, it's horrific, isn't it? It's really tiring. And people don't believe me. They're like, "Oh, how can he miss that? It was on his camera." I'm like, have you ever tried doing this, bitch?
Like something you don't appreciate until you've tried it. Just gonna say, I really think the game turned when VonIvan dived the Schwerer. He lost too much, and the Schwerer already did its job. If he had killed the Schwerer before the Panzer IV, no doubt about it, VonIvan wins that game. But he took the gamble, he rolled the dice. He thought maybe he could kill the Schwerer before the Panzer IV, and the dice rolled snake eyes for Von, and yeah, lost the T-70, lost a lot of infantry. Just wasn't worth it.
Okay, so because this series is going to an ace game decider, iCab and I will be casting the final after. We'll have a 10-minute intermission though,